very good morning and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha Television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor. Well, our top focus is now after demonetization, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has promised a strong law against benami properties. That is our big focus. Also in the top international news, now famous pop star George Michael is no more. He died aged 53. All the details on that and much more in this bulletin, starting with the headlines. Prime Minister vows to carry forward war against corruption, says law to deal with benami properties to be implemented strongly soon. Finance Minister says government not looking to impose long-term capital gains tax on securities market, says media reports misinterpreted the Prime Minister. "21 people injured in stampede at Kerala Hill Shrine of Sabarimala, 2 injured seriously. Restrictions imposed on pilgrim movement." National mourning in Russia after military plane crashes in Black Sea. Search operations continue as investigation begins. 92 people on board, no survivors so far. And Israel summons ambassadors of 10 nations that voted against it in the anti-settlement resolution at the United Nations. Tells America, friends do not take friends to Security Council. A top story this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has vowed to carry forward the war against corruption and black money post-demonetization. Now, in his last monthly address in Mann Ki Baat this year, the Prime Minister said that the government will soon operationalize a strong law to effectively deal with benami properties. He said his government has revived the benami property legislation, giving it more teeth to deal with the menace. He said the law, which was kept on back burner since 1988, will be implemented stringently in the coming days.
बड़ा धारदार बेनामी संपत्ति का कानून हमने बनाया है। आने वाले दिनों में वो कानून भी अपना काम करेगा। देश हित के लिए, जनहित के लिए जो भी करना पड़े, ये हमारी प्राथमिकता है।
Prime Minister also has defended the frequent changes in demonetization rules in his latest radio address, Mann Ki Baat. Now, Modi said that the changes have been done to reduce people's problems, and people who cannot endorse corruption and black money openly are relentlessly finding faults with his government. The Prime Minister also criticized the opposition for stalling the parliament on this issue.
हर पल सरकार एक संवेदनशील सरकार होने के कारण जनता जनार्दन की सुख सुविधा को ध्यान में रखते हुए जितने भी नियम बदलने पड़ते हैं बदलती है ताकि लोगों की परेशानी कम हो। 15,000 लोगों को ड्रॉ सिस्टम से इनाम मिलेगा और 15,000 के हरेक के खाते में 1,000 रुपये का इनाम जाएगा। और ये सिर्फ आज एक दिन के लिए नहीं है, ये योजना आज से शुरू होकर के 100 दिन तक चलने वाली है। हर दिन 15,000 लोगों को 1,000 रुपये का इनाम मिलने वाला है। 100 दिन में लाखों परिवारों तक करोड़ों रुपयों की सौगात पहुंचने वाली है। लेकिन ये इनाम के हकदार आप तब बनेंगे जब आप मोबाइल बैंकिंग, ई बैंकिंग, रुपे कार्ड, यूपीआई, यूएसएसडी, ये जितने डिजिटल भुगतान के तरीके हैं उनका उपयोग करोगे, उसी के आधार पर ड्रॉ निकलेगा।
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has refuted media reports that the government could be looking to impose a long-term capital gains tax on the securities market in the upcoming budget in the month of February. Now, Jaitley's remarks came after Prime Minister Narendra Modi last week said that those who profit from financial markets must make a fair contribution to the nation building through taxes. Here is more.
Trying to calm frayed nerves, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley on Sunday went to great lengths clarifying that it is not the intention of the government to impose tax on long-term capital gains from share transactions. Referring to the speech made by Prime Minister Modi in Mumbai, Jaitley said the interpretation being given to the speech is not correct.
The speech has been misinterpreted in some sections of the media, which have started speculating that this is an indirect reference to the fact that there could be long-term capital gains on security transactions.
Jaitley further said that the Prime Minister had made no such statement directly or indirectly.
This interpretation is absolutely erroneous. The Prime Minister has made no such statement directly or indirectly. I was present at the function at which this speech was given, and therefore I wish to absolutely clarify that there is no occasion or opportunity for anybody to reach such a conclusion, because this is not what the Prime Minister said, nor is it the intention of the government, as has been reported in a section of the media itself.
Presently, there is no tax on long-term capital gains on a stock traded on an exchange. However, if a stock is traded or exchanged within a year, a 15% tax is enforced. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Tragic news coming in from Kerala, where at least 21 pilgrims to Sabarimala were injured in a stampede at the temple on Sunday night. Now, 2 of the pilgrims are reported to be seriously injured when a rope barricade snapped and pilgrims who were leaning on it fell on each other. Well, the injured have been rushed to the Kottayam Medical College, and the police has also now restricted the movement of pilgrims at the temple. The 2 grievously injured pilgrims have suffered head and rib injuries. There was a heavy rush of pilgrims on Sunday, the penultimate day before the culmination of 41-day Mandala Puja. Well, the mishap occurred just as the holy Thanga Angi procession carrying the ornaments that is to be adorned on Lord Ayappa on Monday Puja today had reached the temple. Let's now get you some weather update. Well, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand witnessed white Christmas on Sunday as they received the season's first snowfall, which coupled with rain has pulled down mercury in the northern region. Well, in Himachal Pradesh, Shimla and its surrounding areas received light traces of snowfall, with showers also lashing the region, while the adjoining tourist resorts of Kufri, Faku and Narkanda also got some snow. Now, Kalpa in Kinnar district received 7 centimeters of snow, while Kufri and Narkanda got 2 centimeters and 5 centimeters of snow respectively. Well, this is the first time after 25 years that Himachal Pradesh received snowfall on Christmas Day. Meanwhile, Uttarakhand also received the season's first snowfall, while the lower areas have been lashed by moderate showers, causing a sharp dip in temperatures across the state. Now, places located above 3,000 meters in the states of Chamoli, Rudraprayag and Uttarkashi districts, including the 4 Himalayan shrines of Badrinath and Kedarnath, have also received snowfall, even as the plains, including Haridwar, Udham Singh Nagar and adjoining areas, were swept by icy winds and light drizzle.
आज में जैसे आप मेरे देख सकते हैं हल्की हल्की धुआंधार रेंज में स्नोफॉल हो रही है। जैसे कि संडे है और हम लेट ही उठते हैं संडे को, उस हिसाब से ऐसे जैसे हम सुबह उठे तो हल्की हल्की बारिश हो रही थी, जिससे खुश मौसम था पहले। अब तो काफ़ी देखने को मिल रहा है कि काफ़ी अच्छा मौसम हो गया। अगर ये बारिश होती रही और मौसम ऐसा बना रहा तो स्नोफॉल नीचे भी हो सकती है, पहाड़ों पे भी आ सकती है। हमारे वैसे धुआंधार रेंज पे तो स्नोफॉल हो ही रही है।
और सामने मतलब इस सीज़न का ये पहला स्नोफॉल है, और सामने मतलब पहाड़ियाँ, आज मतलब पहाड़ियों में काफ़ी टूरिस्ट का मतलब होगा। और जैसे कि आज क्रिसमस का दिन है, तो क्रिसमस के दिन ही आज स्नोफॉल बहुत बड़ी बात है, और इससे जो हमारे पानी की शॉर्टेज थी वो भी पूरी हो जाएगी। और आज जैसे लोग बोल रहे थे कि सूखी ठंड है, तो आज बारिश की वजह से उन्हें भी काफ़ी आनंद मिलेगा कि आज बारिश हुई है तो ठंड भी इतनी नहीं लगेगी। और बाकी रहा स्नोफॉल, तो शायद कुछ टूरिस्ट ऊपर जाके स्नोफॉल भी खेल सकते हैं।
On to some other news now. Well, Pakistan has released 220 Indian fishermen as a goodwill gesture on Sunday. Well, the gesture comes amid strain in relations between the two sides. The 220 fishermen released from Malir jail in Karachi were arrested for allegedly entering Pakistan's territorial waters illegally and fishing there. Last week, the Pakistan Fishermen Forum claimed that the Indian maritime authorities had picked up dozens of Pakistani fishermen from inside Pakistan's territorial waters near the Gujarat coastline and had taken them away, though the government has not responded to these claims so far.
हमारे पास टोटल 518 इंडियन फिशरमैन हैं, उसमें से 220 इंडियन फिशरमैन आज रिलीज़ हो रहे हैं जज्बा खैर सगाली के तहत पाकिस्तान और की गवर्नमेंट की जानिब से, और 219 इंडियन फिशरमैन दूसरे फेज़ में 5 तारीख को 5 जनवरी 2017 को यहाँ से रिलीज़ किए जाएंगे।
मैं 14 महीने तक यहाँ रहा, 14 महीने के बाद मैं इधर से जा रहा हूँ, मुझे बहुत खुशी है। मैं अपने घर जाऊँगा, अपने मम्मी पापा भाई बहन बीवी बच्चे सबसे मिलूँगा जाके।
हम अपनी गवर्नमेंट को भी बोले कि यहाँ से जाके कि उधर भी हमें जो रखा गया बहुत मान सम्मान मिला, मेहमानों की तरह हमारा ख्याल किया गया है, खाना पीना भी सही दिया था, अच्छा ख्याल करते हैं हम लोगों का, हम पर कोई जुल्म नहीं होता। आप भी हमारी तरह जो हमें रखते हैं उसी तरह उन लोगों को भी कोई जुल्म ना करो और उन्हें भी जल्दी रिहा करो।
And one person was shot dead by suspected militants in North Kashmir's Baramulla district. While according to police, Nasir Ahmed Mir was shot at by suspected militants near his residence at Brahmpora in Dangiwacha area of the district. Now, Mir was rushed to a hospital where he was declared brought dead. Now, a case has been registered and a hunt is on to nab the assailants. And Pakistan has objected to the World Bank pausing 2 simultaneous processes related to a dispute in the Indus Waters Treaty. It has also asked the World Bank to fulfill its obligations regarding the treaty. Well, the objections were raised in connection with the India-Pakistan dispute over Kishan Ganga and Ratle projects. Well, Pakistan raised its objections in a letter to the World Bank president. It said that the decision to pause the process of empanelment of the Court of Arbitration will seriously prejudice Pakistan's interests and rights under the Indus Waters Treaty of 1960. Remember, India had taken a strong exception last month to the World Bank's decision to set up a court of arbitration and appoint a neutral expert to go into Pakistan's complaint against it over Kishan Ganga and Ratle hydroelectric projects in Jammu and Kashmir.
I see it as a sign of Pakistan getting very scared and the government making it clear that we intend to use our full quota of water from the Indus river system, the 3 rivers allotted to us, as early as possible. They think that by sending a letter to the World Bank and asking them to put up a court of arbitration and arbitrator and so on, they will probably, and I don't think they'll get a verdict in their favor, but they can at least delay the whole thing.
Pakistan is in the habit of creating controversies. Every time India has tried to do anything in terms of using the waters that it can use under the treaty, Pakistan has always objected, has every time called in for some sort of an arbitration. The treaty has clauses wherein bilaterally talks must be held. There is a permanent Indus Water Commission to which a commissioner each is appointed by Pakistan and India, and a neutral expert is called in who adjudicates, and whatever is the decision, both the governments have been accepting it. Most of the time it's been found that the complaint from the Pakistan side was bogus.
News and 10, we'll take a very short break. Up next we have more news. Stay with us.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, affectionately known as Madiba, was South Africa's first democratically elected president, an international peacemaker and statesman, and a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Through a long career as an activist, Mandela was a crusader for equal rights for South Africa's black majority. Having undergone frequent imprisonment, in 1964, Mandela was sentenced to life in jail. Charged with sabotage, treason, and violent conspiracy, he narrowly escaped the gallows. He was released in 1990, having initiated talks with South African President de Klerk towards ending apartheid in the country. Mandela was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1993 for his efforts. In April 1994, the Mandela-led African National Congress won South Africa's first elections by universal suffrage. And Mandela was sworn in as president of the country's first multi-ethnic government. He retired from the presidency in 1999 and from public life in 2004. Nelson Mandela died on December 5, 2013 from a recurring lung infection.
Hello and welcome to Raj Sabha TV. You're watching Constitutionally Yours.
I will use the shield of faith to promote cow slaughter.
The states have continuously failed to implement the ban on cow slaughter.
Other section of the society, they are beef eaters.
How are we the biggest exporter in beef?
India is the largest country in export of beef.
Join us as we try to understand contemporary issues related to the Constitution. Watch Constitutionally Yours on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back after the break. Now, with the UP state elections fast approaching, the problems within the ruling Samajwadi Party do not seem to end. Well, in the latest tiff within the party, Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav has raised apprehensions against the ticket distribution within the party. Now, Akhilesh has alleged that out of the 403 party tickets, over 181 tickets have been given to tainted persons. Well, according to sources, Akhilesh has dropped a few names officially selected by his uncle and party state chief Shivpal Yadav. Well, this is the second time in 2 weeks that the UP Chief Minister has expressed displeasure over ticket distribution. An India test indigenously developed surface-to-surface nuclear-capable ballistic missile Agni-5 from the Wheeler Island of Odisha coast today. With a launch weight of around 50 tons, the 17-meter-long, 2-meter-wide Agni-5 is capable of striking a target more than 5,000 kilometers away and can carry a nuclear warhead of more than 1 ton. The latest Agni-5 is the most advanced missile after having incorporated new technologies for navigation and guidance, warhead and engine. Well, it will be the fourth development trial of the long-range missile since April 2012. And now let's take a look at what all will be making news through the day in the day ahead. The Patiala House Court is likely to take up a hearing today on the bail plea of former Air Chief S.P. Tyagi, who has been under arrest since 9th of December in the 3,600 crore rupees Augusta Westland chopper scam. Earlier, the court had postponed hearing on the bail plea as the CBI told the court that it needed time to present the case, as it had to obtain large volumes of information to interrogate Tyagi and the two other accused in the case. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Harish Rawat will appear before the CBI in connection with a probe into the purported sting operation involving him in horse trading. Now, this is the second time that Rawat has been summoned by the CBI in the last 7 months. He had earlier appeared before the agency on 24th of May and was questioned for nearly 5 hours. And the Patiala House Court is likely to pronounce its verdict today on the National Herald case accusing the Congress chief Sonia Gandhi, Vice President of the party Rahul Gandhi and other senior party leaders of conspiring to cheat in a land deal. The plea was filed by BJP leader Subramaniam Swamy. Earlier on 9th of December, the court had reserved its order on seeking documents and ledger books from the Congress party and the Associate Journals Limited. A very quick breather again. Now we'll be back with international news and sports news.
Rabindranath Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913 for his book Gitanjali. In 1950, he composed the music and lyrics for India's national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. and when Bangladesh became independent in 1971, they chose Tagore's song, Amar Shonar Bangla, as its national anthem. Tagore's life and works have made him a cultural icon, studied the world over, even into the 21st century.
Welcome back. Now, a major 7.6 magnitude earthquake jolted southern Chile on Sunday, prompting thousands to evacuate coastal areas. The quake, which had a depth of about 34 kilometers, hit an area of Chile known for tourism. No casualties were reported. Now, some roads and bridges were affected, but the damage appeared to be limited. Now, Chile's National Emergency Services lifted both the evacuation order and a tsunami alert 3 hours after the Christmas Day quake struck. Nearly 5,000 people who had evacuated their homes were told it was safe to return to their homes. The quake was felt on the other side of the Andes Mountains in Argentina as well, but structural damage in areas close to the epicenter was limited.
El último reporte del CHOA indica que se cancela el estado de precaución para todo el país, por lo que tanto las personas pueden volver a sus hogares de manera tranquila y ordenada.
Muy fuerte. Estaba en mi casa con mi niñita y pensé que se iba acá a mi casa, así que salimos afuera donde no hay peligro, había una pampita, así que ahí nos quedamos.
And the Russian ministry has said that no survivors have been found after the Syrian-bound military plane crashed into the Black Sea. Now, there were 92 passengers on board, including Red Army COI members traveling to celebrate New Year with troops. Now, a huge search operation continues with more than 3,000 people, including 109 divers, involved in the operation near Sochi. Well, the Tu-154 plane, which had been carrying 84 passengers and 8 crew members, crashed in the Black Sea shortly after taking off from the southern city of Adar, where it had been refueling. At least 60 were the members of Red Army COI who were being flown out to air base in Syria to entertain troops in the run-up to the new year. 9 Russian reporters had also been on board, as well as the military servicemen. 10 bodies have been recovered at the crash site so far, with the rest of the passengers also feared dead. Now, Monday has been declared a day of national mourning across Russia, while the country has also begun investigations into the cause of the crash. Now, India expressed condolences over the incident, Prime Minister Narendra Modi mourning the tragic loss of lives. Meanwhile, Sochi residents also brought flowers and candles to the seafront in the city centre to honour the victims of the plane crash.
Прежде всего хочу выразить самые искренние соболезнования семьям наших граждан, погибших в результате авиационной катастрофы над Черным морем сегодня утром.
Была развернута поисковая спасательная операция. К сожалению, на настоящий момент никого из выживших обнаружить не удалось, и я от имени лица правительственной комиссии приношу самые искренние соболезнования всем родственникам и близким.
On to some other international news now, where Israel summoned ambassadors of 10 nations to Jerusalem to reprimand them over the United Nations vote last week on an anti-settlement resolution. Well, the resolution passed following the US's decision to abstain from voting. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had harsh words for the Obama administration over the UNSC vote that demanded an end to settlement buildings. The resolution marked a new low with the Obama administration. Tel Aviv has accused Obama of colluding with the Palestinian agencies against the Jewish state. Now, ambassadors from 10 of the 14 countries that voted in favor of the resolution and have embassies in Israel include Britain, China, Russia, France, Egypt, Japan, Uruguay, Spain, Ukraine and New Zealand. Now, much of the international community considers the settlements as illegal and illegitimate and an obstacle to peace. Now, Israel disagrees, citing biblical and historical connections to West Bank and Jerusalem, as well as security interests.
Over decades, American administrations and Israeli governments have disagreed about settlements, but we agreed that the Security Council was not the place to resolve this issue. We knew that going there would make negotiations harder and drive peace further away. And as I told John Kerry on Thursday, friends don't take friends to the Security Council. I'm encouraged by the statements of our friends in the United States, Republicans and Democrats alike. They understand how reckless and destructive this UN resolution was. They understand that the Western Wall isn't occupied territory. I look forward to working with those friends and with the new administration when it takes office next month.
And let's get to some more international news in World Wrap. Powerful typhoon Nocten is continuing to batter the Philippines as it heads towards the area around the heavily populated capital Manila. Now, civil defense officials have been put on red alert as the storm is due to hit the city late on Monday. Well, the storm has weakened since making landfall on the eastern coast on Sunday, but it still packs the winds of up to 140 kilometers per hour. The storm cut past lines and uprooted trees, but no deaths were reported. Pope Francis on Sunday urged people to remember migrants, refugees and those hit by economic instability. Francis, who marked the fourth Christmas season since his election in 2013, also made a mention of Palestinians and Israelis facing renewed tensions after UN resolution condemning Israel's settlements on occupied land. He asked them to have the courage to put aside hate and revenge and write a new page of history. At least 2 people were killed and 15 others injured in a strong explosion in Al-Sukari district of Aleppo. The blast occurred when civilians returned to inspect their old residence, which they had previously abandoned in order to flee the rebel-controlled bombing areas. The loud explosion shook the area and shots were heard following the blast. Aleppo was recovered by government forces on Thursday after ousting rebel forces and evacuating the civilians remaining in the besieged neighborhoods in the eastern half of the city. And finally, tragic news for all the music lovers across the world as the singer George Michael passed away on Sunday at the age of 53. Well, the star, who launched his career with the Wham in the 1980s and continued his success as a solo performer, is said to have passed away peacefully at his home in Oxfordshire. The celebrities across the world expressed shock and sadness at the news of his death. As we take your leave, we leave you with these images. Thanks for watching.